It feels like we trust AI with just about everything these days, right? From simple questions to, well, some pretty serious advice. But what happens when that trust gets a little shaky? Today, we're going to dive into the strange and honestly sometimes unsettling world of AI double talk and ask a really crucial question.
And here it is. Can an AI lie to you? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, but the answer? Well, it reveals something really fundamental and frankly a little weird about how these incredibly powerful tools actually think, if you can even call it that.
So, to try and get to the bottom of this, we did something simple. We played a game, Two Truths and a Lie. We just asked an AI to give us 3 facts about something, and wow, it failed in a way we totally did not expect. It really showed us that when you're using AI, fact-checking isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely essential. And as you're about to see, this rabbit hole goes way, way deeper than a simple party game.
Right, because these kinds of inconsistencies can go from a fun little game to a really high-stakes situation, fast. Just imagine for a second, you're not feeling great, so you turn to one of those telehealth AI chatbots for some quick advice.
Okay, look at this. These are 2 different responses from the exact same AI, based on a really similar prompt. On the one hand, it's telling you to just calmly monitor your symptoms, but on the other hand, it gives you completely different and way more urgent advice. So, the big question is, which one do you trust? I mean, especially when your health is on the line.
This just perfectly shows the danger, right? One minute, the AI is all calm and collected. The next, it's basically shouting that immediate medical attention is necessary. That is some serious digital whiplash, and it can have very real, very serious consequences.
So what we're actually seeing here has a name. It's called a contradiction. It's basically when an AI spits out conflicting or totally opposing answers to a similar question. Answers that just can't both be true. And you just saw a pretty powerful example of exactly why that matters so much.
Okay, so the big question is, why does this happen? To really get it, we need to kind of peek under the hood and see how an AI's brain is just fundamentally different from ours. And the difference here is, it's just night and day. Think about it. A human medical expert has this deep, specialized knowledge. It's all based on current, verified research. In AI, well, it learns from these massive generalized data sets that are scraped from all over the internet. It's basically learning from a chaotic sea of information that can be messy, outdated, and just filled with conflicting opinions.
And this right here, this is the absolute key to understanding everything. An AI is not a fact engine, it's a probability engine. It is not designed to know what is true, it's only designed to predict the next most likely word in a sentence to create something that sounds plausible. And let's be clear, plausible is absolutely not the same thing as accurate.
So really, it all boils down to this. AI gets things wrong because it's just chasing patterns, not hunting for facts. It's working from this jumbled mess of training data. It can easily misunderstand what you're even asking, and sometimes, and this is the wild part, to fill in the blanks, it just makes stuff up. We actually have a name for that: hallucination. All right, I know that might sound a little bleak, but here's the good news. You are not powerless here. Not at all. In fact, you can take control of the conversation and actually guide the AI toward getting you better, more consistent answers. And the most important tool you have is something called context. The best way to think about it is like putting up guardrails for your conversation. It's all that extra information you give the AI to help it narrow down the zillions of possibilities and give you a response that's actually, relevant and accurate. Check this out. Watch how easily you can steer the AI. If you ask it why mandatory PE in schools is a good idea, boom, it'll give you a whole list of benefits. But then, if you frame the exact same topic negatively, it'll generate a completely opposite list of all the drawbacks. And the big insight here is that the AI isn't actually picking a side. It's just following your lead. So, here's a super practical 4-step process you can use literally every time. First, just ask a general question. Then, if the answer feels kind of vague or just off, that's your signal to dig in. Third, re-ask your question, but this time add some specific context. You can even tell it to use a reliable source. And finally, compare the new result. It's almost always going to be a much more accurate and useful answer. And all of this really leads to one of the most important ideas in AI today, which is your essential role in this whole thing. You've probably heard the phrase human in the loop. Well, it's not just some buzzword, it is an absolute necessity.
So, what's the big picture here?
What should you really take away from all this? First, we have to shift how we think about AI. It's a super powerful collaborator for sure, but it's not a flawless authority. Second, for anything high stakes, you have to fact-check it with trusted sources. Always. Third, remember that you are the one guiding the AI with clear, contextual prompts. And finally, and this is the most important part, human judgment. Your critical thinking. That's the most crucial piece of this entire process.
And really, that's the bottom line. AI doesn't replace critical thinking. Far from it. To use it safely and effectively, it actually requires it more than ever before.
Which kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. As these AI systems get more and more complex over the next, say, 10 years, how is this whole contradiction thing going to evolve? Are they actually going to get better at telling the truth? Or will the contradictions just get more subtle and even harder for us to spot? It's a challenge that, really, we're all going to have to figure out together.